Good morning and many blessings here from Reiko P. Blackheart, your favorite neighborhood witch, your constant reminder of protect your energy and protect your soul. We are here again with another Sunday Detox as we have been talking about attachments and codependency caretakers in our last episode. And now we're going to talk about attachment to inanimate objects and things that we create and our hobbies and our goals and our ambition. Everything that we do in life or everything that we put into emotion or we put effort into, we get attachments to. Now it's just a matter of how attached are you to this particular project or this particular goal or this particular object that you have created. Some people don't realize when it comes to science and art and music, we become attached to the things that we create. Those are basically our babies. And it started as something as simple as our growing up. Remember that most kids, and we always say that we have that one item that we can just never let go. That security blanket, that security pillow, that one stuffed animal. And usually hobbies for most of us start off something super, super simple as putting your hand into the creative lane, just dabbling around with something. Oh, you're going to start writing. Now you're writing poetry, or, oh, you pick up an instrument because, in middle school they told you, hey, in order for you to fill out every single elective, we're going to put you in a elective wheel where you get to try every elective at least once. And now all of a sudden you have a recorder in your hand and you're in love. Now you want to play it all the time. Hobbies start as something as early on in life. It's figuring you out. It's a part of who you are. And whether you are a person who do cosplay or just dress up as it or actually create the actual outfits, you put effort into it. You are attached to that effort, that work. And you may not be satisfied with it the first time you end up creating something, because nobody's ever satisfied. But that one thing you create that you're really attached to, that one thing that you're just at that point nobody will ever live up to that level, that is your baby. What I always say here and I tell people is this. When it comes down to me, my hobby started off very, very young. My hobby started off as an escape. I used to sit here and I used to write. I was in drama most of elementary school, all of middle school, and all of high school. I sat here and I wrote. I used to start off as writing monologues for class. And outside of that, I used to sit here and do little sketch poems and little comics. Writing was always my passion and always helping people out. I could write a whole novella if I wanted to. And I used to sit here and just write poems just because. And my friends used to have fun. I used to even wanted to sit here and freestyle rap. And I mean, everybody wanted to freestyle rap. I think I started off watching BET, watching the people sit here and drop freestyles and stuff. And I was like, yo, I'm going to go ahead and I want to do the same thing, doing the underground stuff. And me and my brother used to do it all the time. And whoever lost, we had silly little bets. But my hobby started off as a way of escaping all the shit that was going on in my life. All the drama, the headache, the push and pull. I wrote. That was my escape. That was my princess. Because when I used to get in trouble, or my mom remembered things to put me in trouble for, and I lost my video games, and I had nothing else, my mom would never take away my books, and she would never take away my ability to write. So anytime I got in trouble, I just found the things that my mom never took away from me and found joy in them. I would sit here and read books for hours. I actually turned my walk-in closet into a little safe haven space for reading. Put some old clothes in a bag, turned it into a beanbag chair, had all my books lined up, had my own little library in my closet. And I decorated. I decorated my room. All that stuff started off as a whole hobby, as an escape. And I enjoyed doing it. I got so used to changing my room up so much because I would change the decoration style. I would take things that I had that I wasn't wearing anymore, cut it up, sew it together, cross-stitching, and create a whole new environment every month, every couple of months. And it was a way of escaping. That was my way of getting out of reality, because I would get so lost and consumed in the creative process that everything else around me just seemed to melt away. That was my attachment to it. The attachment for me was my escaping. I love the escape. It took me away from all the drama, the bullshit, the heartache. And then when everything was done, I looked at what I created and I'm like, I did this. Like a proud parent staring at their child who just made the honor roll. Like, that's what it felt like to me. And every time I wrote a poem or a monologue, I would sit here and read it, and I'm like, man, I don't know how I feel about it. But then when I sat here and read it in front of classes, I would get so excited, and I'd be like, oh my God, they actually like this. But most of the stuff that I wrote was always something that actually happened in my life. And the thing is, like, so many people knew. They knew. And the thing is, like, they knew it was an escape, because the things that I wrote about, most people my age wouldn't write about. But that was what started it for me. It was my escape, my letter, my cry for help, and it became who I am today. It's became my hobby. Even to this day, I still write. I got so many poems out that at this moment of time, if somebody told me to go ahead and go to an open mic, I could be able to start spitting and rhyming for you right now. Spoken word is a different thing, but definitely writing down poems is another. I could write a whole book if I wanted to. I have enough work to actually write a good, decent book. But that's how it started for me. Everybody else starts differently. They may have started because they watched anime and now they want to sit here and cosplay as these characters. They went to their first convention and they actually watched all these people dressed up and now they want to do it. Started off in Halloween, enjoying, putting on makeup and things of that nature. For whatever reason that you have these hobbies, most people don't realize that that is a form of attachment. And then every time you are finished with that project or that product, you feel so much pride from it. But then when it doesn't turn out the way that you want, then you don't feel happy or gratification. Everything that we do in life is going to always have some form of attachment. I can tell you guys off rip, a lot of people start with little things that they're attached to. A security blanket, a pillow, a doll that they may have got from a parent, or, a pendant. And let's say, for instance, that lovely blanket that you carried on from childhood and may have not realized that your parents done swapped it out 3 or 4 times because the blanket done got destroyed to hell. You sit here and take what you think is that particular one and actually sit here and turn it into something else. You take that blanket and you stitch it onto a quilt. Or you take that bear and you repurpose it or do something where you take your original thing that you were attached to and repurpose it to something better. People who have a lot of band shirts turn those band shirts into quilts. And then when you start creating these things and repurposing, then you start realizing what your craft is. Oh, I can sit here and make quilts. I can sit here and draw. I can paint real good. I can write. Maybe I can go ahead and take my hobby, this thing that I love doing, this thing that I'm so attached to that I would never stop doing. Even if you took both my hands away from me, I'll still find a way to do it. I'm joking. Don't take me serious on that. That was sarcasm. That was just me being me. But if somebody sat here and started these hobbies and then they can turn it around and make it a business. These people who enjoy creating and putting in the effort and the love and affection. Because when you start your hobbies, most people don't realize, especially those who are artists, they put so much love and effort into their work. So yes, I am a firm believer of exactly what Miss Erica Badu said. I am an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit, because the fact of being, those are our babies. Our hobbies, our craft, they're our babies. We look at them all the time. We have such an attachment, a bond to them emotionally, physically, spiritually, to anything that we poured our heart and soul in to create. As humans, we don't realize how powerful we are. When we create something, that is power, that is magic. So of course, yeah, we're going to have some attachment to it because that's something we did. Those people who put in their effort, for they sit here and they make sure they put in the detail, all that. Even when I model, I didn't even pick up modeling as a hobby until I was 18. I used to never think I would be able to do it. And you want to know something? I turned around, went with one of my friends and stuff right after I was 18 and went to a photo shoot event that was free. And I sat here, took so many photos, and I had one man, because nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody wanted to be around me because I was a little bit bigger. Now that I look back at it, I was actually a lot smaller than I am now. But at that time, no guy wanted to take photos of me because of my skin and how I was shaped. They wanted the real skinny girls with the really big boobs and no ass, and they were white. One photographer came up to me and said, I see you've been here for several hours now. Nobody came and wanted to take photos of you. Hey, let me take a couple photos. And ever since then, it's just been history. And to this day, he is still my first photographer. He is always going to be the love of my life. He was the one who boosted me, showed me the rope of posing and everything. But then Jasmine came into my life. Well, she was already in my life, but photography-wise, when she came into my life, she actually showed me how to actually pose. She perfected my posing. To the point where if another photographer said, well, I don't know how to pose you because of your shape, because I'm not skinny, nor am I big, but I am definitely thick in all the right places, and I am proud of it. And if you haven't seen my photos, you are definitely missing out at this point. But that's not what we're here for. That is now a hobby of mine. It's something I love. Those are those things that I create. And when I sit here and I look at these photos, I be sitting here saying, man, that's me. I did that. My photographer, me and her, we did this together. This is our baby. We did this together. And if she looks at all her photos as her babies too. And she will tell you straight up. But anytime I see a photo of me and something that I created, my idea, my work, and everything, it's even to the point where I've started creating props for it. Because when you do something you love, even if it may be a hobby, you put in the effort and the work. And when you do that, you're putting a part of your heart and soul into it. So that's what forms that attachment. So those photos are, even if they are something that is visually beautiful, those are things that you created and you want to sit here and share them with pride. Hobbies is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Attachment to these hobbies is a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you do the right thing. Now, some people may say that, hey, smoking is my hobby. Now that's something totally different, baby. That's not a hobby. That's a form of escapism, yes. But a hobby is something where you actually put in the work and the effort and create something beautiful. Some people's hobbies are, making babies. Literally. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but there are some people out there that's what their hobby is. But more or less, though, guys, hobbies is a beautiful, beautiful form of attachment. When you create something you put in love and effort in. And it can be frustrating at times. It can. Hell, people who game, that's their hobbies. Some of these people who are strict Twitch gamers or Facebook gamers, since Mixer is no longer around, or they've merged over to Facebook gaming, I'm letting you guys know that is still a hobby and you put so much work and effort into it. Even if you got 1 viewer or 5,000 viewers, you guys still, that is a hobby and you guys put in the work and the effort, because hobbies become full-time jobs, especially when you love it. You don't think of it as a job, but you love it. Hobbies is what you make of it. Now, you could be like me, have many skills, be a model, freelance, do gaming, have a podcast, and still work a full-time job. But whatever hobbies you have, those are the things that make you you. Those things that you create, take pride into it. Those things that you put your love, effort, and everything into, take pride into it. I always tell people like this, when it comes down to it, hobbies are your babies just like your babies are. Things that you put effort and time into, those are the things that you should love. There's nothing wrong with getting attached to the things that you create. There's nothing wrong with having an attachment to anything. Attachment comes into many different forms. Just don't be codependent on it. Codependency is a very toxic thing, but it can also be beneficial within limitations for a certain period of time. So know what your attachment is and what is driving you when it comes to your goals, your hobbies, your relationships, things that are going on in your life. Creativity is a beautiful, beautiful way to form an attachment to things that you create, that you build, that you put into fruition, your ideas. You could be attached to a goal. You just have to know what you can get attached to and what you can't. You got to know what your attachment style is, especially when you're dating someone. Your attachment style may not coincide with their attachment style. But I can tell you like this, guys. Be careful when you joke about you being codependent in a relationship. Be careful when you say you don't do anything because you go to your friends and their friends is like, nah, I'm gonna hang out with my girl this week. Oh, you just codependent on her, you falling on her. You don't know what that person's style is. You don't know what they got going on. It's their job to know their attachment styles and their partner's understanding of their attachment styles versus their own. As their friend, you just have to sit here and be there if it is a toxic relationship and see through a toxic relationship and be genuine about it. Don't just be like, oh, your relationship's toxic because you are feeling left out or you not understanding their relationship. Because some friends can get too attached to their friend and pull them away from something that could be really good and beneficial for them. When it comes to hobbies, quotation marks, if you see that your friend is becoming codependent on drugs, that's unhealthy versus attached to them. Attached meaning they could probably let that shit go a little bit. But if they becoming codependent where they can't survive without it and they can't function or be themselves without it, that's when you need to be looking. People who are addicts are codependent. People who stay in abusive relationships is codependent. People who manipulate people is codependent. Because again, there's a difference between codependent caretakers and codependent people. Codependent people, caretakers, are people who they will latch onto other people and manipulate other people for their own beneficial gain. And that's another form of narcissism. And it's another form of personality disorders. You just have to really know the signs. But you can't be the one to tell them. You have to just say, hey, something's not right. You might want to go seek somebody. If you see the signs of something not being right, then say something. Because sometimes when people get into those relationships, they get so blinded by love, they don't see it themselves. With that being said, guys, this is going to be a very short episode, unfortunately. But on next Sunday, we'll be live. We'll discuss it. I'll throw up a Q&A on my Twitter as well as my IG. And you guys already know right now I am still running a I'm running right now a Twitch competition. Well, not a competition. It's a charity for charity gaming on my Twitch channel for Lady Reiko, and that's LADYR3IKO on Twitch, as well as my Twitter, which is B_REIKO, and Lady_REIKO for IG. Guys, I will see you next Sunday on the live on IG, and we will sit here, talk about more on dependency versus attachment. If you would like to go more into depth, hopefully I could probably get my sister to voice, I may not get her face on here, but I may be able to voice her opinion on the different attachment styles and knowing the differences in more depth, because she did study it. I am going to be going to school for it, but she has studied on it a little bit more in depth. So guys, thank you so much. Remember to protect your energy, stay hydrated, stay safe out in this crazy world. Black lives still matter, your life matters, and protect your energy. And please guys, stop touching stuff so we can be off of punishment. I would like to be able to graciously decline invitations again to go places, or pick and choose when I want to go out, because I like getting fresh air sometimes. With love, blessings from Reiko. See you next week.